Maldives, the beautiful island nation in the Indian Ocean, famous for its pristine beaches and beautiful islands, is turning into a big diplomatic challenge for India. Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, the newly elected President of Maldives, has formally requested the Indian government to withdraw its military personnel from the country. What does this mean for India? And is there a bigger geopolitical power play about to unfold in this tiny island nation in the coming times? Let's discuss all this in detail. Hello guys, I am Saurav and welcome to the Arc. A press release from the President's office on 18th November noted that the government of Maldives has formally requested Government of India to withdraw its military personnel from Maldives. President Muizzu discussed the same with Indian Minister of Earth Sciences Kiren Rijiju, who was in Maldives to attend the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected president. Another press release on 19th November disclosed the presence of 77 Indian military personnel in the island nation. On the day President Muizzu asked for withdrawal of Indian military personnel, a medical evacuation was carried out in the Dornier aircraft, gifted by India. These aircraft are extremely critical for medical evacuations and emergency situations, considering the geography of Maldives. Over the last 5 years, more than 500 medical evacuations have been carried out by Indian personnel, saving 523 Maldivian lives. As disclosed in the President's press release, all the Indian military personnel present in Maldives are engaged in these aircraft operations, assisting the Maldives National Defense Force. They are not combat troops, nor are these aircraft under Indian command. They work in coordination with the Maldivian authorities. So if the Indian military personnel are only there to assist the Maldives authorities in rescue and evacuation, why does the President want them out? To understand that, we need some context on Maldives politics. Mohamed Muizzu, the presidential candidate of People's National Congress, won the 2023 elections. The People's National Congress was formed after a leadership dispute between former Presidents Abdulla Yameen and Mohamed Abdul Gayoom. PNC was split from the Progressive Party of Maldives, led by Abdulla Yameen. But later, both the parties came together to form the Progressive Congress Coalition. So in Maldives politics, traditionally there have been two factions. One that is pro-China and another that is pro-India. Take a look at the past presidents of Maldives. Mohamed Abdul Gayoom, who served as President of Maldives from 1978 to 2008, maintained close ties with India for many years. Because India helped him beat the coup attempt in 1988 with India's Operation Cactus. In 2008, Mohamed Nasheed of the Maldivian Democratic Party won the election. Nasheed and his party MDP were seen as pro-India, whereas his rival Abdulla Yameen of the Progressive Party of Maldives was seen as a China proxy. Abdulla Yameen came to power between 2013 and 2018. During this tenure, Yameen shifted his attention to China and made Maldives a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. Yameen was and has been vocal on his anti-India stance. Then in 2018, MDP's Ibrahim Solih became president. From 2018 to 2023, Solih restored the ties with India with his India First policy. Security, economic, cultural ties between the two countries grew significantly during President Solih's tenure. Also in 2019, former President Yameen was sentenced to 5 years of prison time, charged with theft and money laundering. In November 2021, the Supreme Court overturned the decision and freed Yameen. Then in December 2022, the Maldives Criminal Court sentenced him to 11 years in prison after finding him guilty of corruption and money laundering. Now coming back to 2023 elections, the Supreme Court barred Yameen to fight the election because of his sentence. Which is why the Progressive Congress Coalition, which is a coalition between pro-China Yameen's PPM and PNC, nominated Mohamed Muizzu as their presidential candidate. Muizzu served as the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure in Yameen's government and is often touted as Yameen's protege. He won the election on the India Out campaign. After his acquittal in 2021, Yameen positioned himself as a major opposition figure of Maldives. He spearheaded the India Out campaign, planning for his presidential candidature. There were some ground protests in Maldives, and it later spread widely across social media platforms, using the phrase with a related hashtag. A misinformation campaign was run, claiming thousands of Indian soldiers being present in Maldives, jeopardizing Maldives' sovereignty. But this has been proven to be false after the recent disclosure that only 77 Indian military personnel are there in Maldives. But Muizzu fought the election on the India Out campaign, promising his voters of Indian military personnel's withdrawal from the country. So now it has become a political compulsion for him. The Indian official sources have said that the two countries have decided to talk about workable solutions to ensure that the island nation of the Maldives continues to use Indian military platforms. But why is Maldives so important for India? As you can see, Maldives is a small island country with about 1192 islands and about 500,000 population. But its location is extremely strategic. Maldives is less than 70 nautical miles away from the Minicoy Island, that is the southernmost island of Lakshadweep, and 300 nautical miles away from India's west coast. As you know, major sea lanes of communication passing through the Indian Ocean are in close proximity to Maldives. With growing Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean, India wants to keep a constant vigil over the Indian Ocean region. We are aware of China's ploy to buy influence with its debt trap diplomacy and acquisition of ports in India's vicinity for its grand strategy called the String of Pearls to encircle India. With a pro-China government in Maldives, in India's backyard, there is a high possibility of Chinese Navy movement around the island nation, which India clearly doesn't want. It's not just about Maldives' location. India and Maldives share historical ties too. There is cultural, ethnic and economic connect between the two countries for centuries. The official language of Maldives, called Dhivehi, traces its roots to Sanskrit and Pali. There is also a significant Indian diaspora presence in Maldives. India has also been the first responder during calamities in Maldives, starting from 2004 tsunami to the water crisis in Malé in December 2014. India also provided around 100,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to Maldives in January 2021. In 2018, India announced a financial assistance package of $1.4 billion for Maldives, which included an $800 million worth of line of credit for major infrastructure projects. As far as tourism in Maldives is concerned, Indian tourists lead the charts, with more than 14% of total tourist arrivals. It's important to note that tourism contributes to more than 28% of Maldives' GDP. After the recently concluded presidential elections, the new government is yet to fully take charge, but they are up for some turbulent times ahead. A World Bank report points out that the Maldivian economic growth will slow down in the next 2 years. As an economy that is heavily import dependent, Maldives is facing significant external and inflationary pressures due to the sharp rise in global commodity prices. World Bank said that Maldives' total debt is set to remain high at over 115% of the GDP, despite expectations of reduced deficits. The public and public guaranteed external debt servicing is expected to reach $1.07 billion in 2026. It is expected to be $450 million in 2024. And $650 million in 2025. Such high levels of public debt and associated refinancing risks make the Maldivian economy extremely vulnerable to domestic and external shocks. So given the future outlook of Maldives' economy, the Muizzu government may need to approach India or China for that matter for restructuring of the current debts. The second challenge is the rising Islamic radicalization in Maldives. Though almost the entire populace in Maldives are Muslims, and Islam is integral to Maldivian politics, but its syncretic nature is derived from its Buddhist roots. That syncretic nature is undergoing rapid change towards Islamic fundamentalism. This year, the United States blacklisted 20 people accused of financially supporting the operations of the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda in Maldives. Islamic radicalization prospered during the earlier Abdulla Yameen government, and the same is anticipated from the current PPM-PNC coalition government. Clearly, it's going to be a challenge for India with a pro-China government in Maldives. But it will be interesting to see how the new president balances his political obligations back home and diplomatic relations with India. As has been the tradition for a long time now, the new president of Maldives visits India on their first foreign visit, and Muizzu is also expected to maintain this tradition. What comes out of that visit and how the geopolitical tug of war between Beijing and New Delhi pans out, we have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon with a new video. Thank you.